I've been trying to find all the Hallmark movies for each holiday, but they really seem to mostly be focused on Christmas and neglect the other holidays. In my search, I have found a tremendous amount of romantic movies with no theme at all, so here's another installment of those. Number 1, All of My Heart, In Love from 2017. I'm not sure what I rated this because I forgot to log it on Letterboxd for some reason. This is the second movie in the All of My Heart series. The first one had the couple inherit a house together, deciding to make it into an inn and get engaged. In this one, they're opening the inn, but renovations burn through all of their money, so the guy goes back to his Wall Street job to get more money. She gets really lonely going through the opening without him and calls off the engagement, but he quits his job and the movie ends with him proposing yet again. Number 2, Frozen in Love from 2018. I gave 2.5 out of 5. Mary owns a bookstore that's going under, and Adam is a hockey player who has poor public image. They both go to the same woman to help save them. She partners them together, saying it'd be a good look for them to be helping each other out. They argue a lot, but end up falling in love, because of course they do. Number 3, Love on Safari from 2018. I gave 2 out of 5. Kira is dating a guy and finds out a family member died and she has to go to Africa for the reading of the will. She finds out she inherits an animal sanctuary, and while figuring out what to do with it, she falls in love with a ranger. Her boyfriend flies out and proposes, but she breaks up with him for the new guy that she just met. Number 4, Love at Sea from 2018. I gave 1 out of 5. Olivia goes on a cruise and is working alongside Tony. She's very organized, and he's cock-blocking her organization and plans. As a planner myself, he's so frustrating, I want to throw him overboard. Olivia's friend is a YouTuber, and there's a lot of social media references in this which drive me up the wall. I watch these to escape from that reality. Hallmark trying to be relevant is so annoying. But anyway, of course these two fall in love even though their characters have no chemistry, because of course they do. Fun fact, the two leads of this are married in real life. Number 5, Flip That Romance from 2019. I gave 1 out of 5. Jules flips houses, and she used to do it with Lance until he dipped out. He's now returned to flip again, and they're both flipping opposite sides of a duplex. And working next door to each other, they re-fall in love, because of course they do. Number 6, The Presence of Love from 2022. I gave 3 out of 5. Joss is an English professor who is working on a research paper. Her mother passed away a year ago and left instructions and a trip booked for the following birthday to travel abroad to the town in England where she grew up. While there, she bonds with Daniel, whose family now owns the property, and they fall in love, because of course they do. She ends up never finishing the paper and dropping her entire life to stay with the man she's known for 2 weeks. Number 7, Feeling Butterflies from 2022. I gave 1 out of 5. Emily runs a butterfly business where she sets them free at weddings and parties. Garrett hires her for his daughter Amanda's birthday. Amanda takes a liking to butterflies and ends up learning more from Emily. While Amanda is learning, Emily and Garrett get close and they fall in love, because of course they do. It's funny to me how he's her client and then she basically makes him an employee/volunteer for the rest of the movie. His daughter gets into a really good school in New York, but he says fuck that and stays to be with the butterfly lady he just met. I'd rate this higher if it weren't for the capturing of the butterflies. They try to make it sound like it's a nice thing that they're setting the butterflies free into the wild, but you've caged them up until that point, so I don't really see how that's nice. That's like kidnapping a child and then setting them free on their 18th birthday and expecting praise for letting them go. Number 8, Bad Date Chronicles from 2017. I gave 1 out of 5. This is listed on the Hallmark movie list on Wikipedia, but it doesn't say Hallmark in the title sequence like most do. I'm gonna include it anyway, just in case. Lee goes on a date with Connor, and it's a complete mess. She writes an online article called The Bad Date Chronicles, where she posts about the date. The guy works for another website and writes a rebuttal. Those articles get a lot of views, and their bosses tell them to go on 3 more dates for the websites. On those dates, the bosses try to sabotage the dates, but while on those dates, the two fall in love, because of course they do. This one's really sad because the two leads are always talking bad about each other and doing so in such a public way, but they end up falling in love anyway. I feel like this is a perfect example of how social media ruins relationships. Number 9, Just Add Romance from 2019. I gave 2 out of 5. Carly and Jason went to culinary school together and now are running into each other on a cooking competition show. The winner gets their own restaurant. While competing, they fall in love, because of course they do. They get to the top 2 and blurt out that they both want to win and own a restaurant together, and the judges let them share the win Hunger Games style. Number 10, The Sweetest Heart from 2018. I gave 2 out of 5. Maddie and Nate were high school sweethearts who dated for 7 years and broke up due to distance. Nate comes back to town as Maddie is trying to get her bakery funded. Nate helps her set up a website and they re-fall in love because of course they do. She also goes on dates with the man who's trying to help her get funded, but throws it all away to get back with her ex. I don't know why, but this movie just bothers me. It's okay, but I definitely don't love it. Number 11, Second Honeymoon from 2001. I gave 2 out of 5. George and Maggie are separated. Their family doesn't know that yet, so they throw a big anniversary party for them and gift them a second honeymoon. They decide to go on the trip and enjoy it separately. While there, they get an official divorce and end up stranded on a part of the island alone together where they have a heartfelt moment. The night that they're stuck on the island, they're both supposed to be on dates with other people. The 2 people meet while waiting on them. When George and Maggie come back to the mainland, they meet up with their dates and tell them that they still love their sort of spouses, and they re-fall in love because of course they do. Number 12, Portrait of Love from 2015. I gave 2 out of 5. April is a photographer that's not feeling her fashion photography job anymore. She goes back to her hometown where there's an art competition thing, and she takes pictures of everyone while they're doing their passion, which helps re-spark hers. She gets down to 1 person left, and it's her ex-boyfriend Luke, who's now widowed. While shooting him, feelings start to rise again, and he asks her to go to the event with her, but she already has a date. She asks if she can get ready for the date in his bathroom, has her date pick her up from his house, and even invites him in. She seems to have taken the make yourself at home thing a little too seriously. She gets a huge job opportunity to shoot fashion in Paris for 2 years, but keeps delaying her decision. They kiss, and that night his daughter starts getting too excited about April being around, and it scares Luke, so the next day he acts like it didn't happen, and she gets upset, and he's all, "You'll just leave us," and she's all, "You jumped into someone else's arms as soon as I left," which is a valid point. She goes to run off and take the job in Paris to get away, but when she left after their argument, Luke smashed their submission for the art thing, and his daughter goes to April sobbing and telling her that she has to come fix it. I wonder how much trauma children experience being forced to cry like that. April helps fix the sculpture in silence, and the next day, before the art show, Luke's daughter shows him her drawing and says April taught her how to be connected to her late mother in order to make the drawing. And Luke starts crying, and he meets April at the show and says he's going with her to Paris, but she's like, "No, I quit, I'm staying." Typical Hallmark ending. Number 13, A Gift of Miracles from 2015. I gave 2.5 out of 5. Darcy is very logical, and Nathan is a dreamer. Nathan helps Darcy work on a paper, which leads to her finding a list of things from her late mother that they follow to try to break her logic and believe her mother is guiding her. Everything feels like signs that she is. She ends up finding out the guy is living in her mother's old house. She accepts the miracle, and they fall in love because of course they do. I do intend to watch every Hallmark movie at some point, so stay tuned for those. If anyone can find the first Mystery Woman movie from 2003, please let me know. Same with McBride Fallen Idol from 2006. I'm stuck on both of those videos until I can track down those movies. Help!